Welcome to the Huskies Highlight Show. I'm Taylor Soper, sports multimedia producer at The Daily.
And I'm Kevin Dowd, Husky football analyst for The Daily.
And we're here at Husky Stadium where the Huskies have had a relaxed week of practice because there's no game this weekend. They've got a much-deserved bye after starting the season 4-1. It's something that head coach Steve Sarkisian talked about at the weekly press conference.
So there's a lot of good things that we can get out of this week, and health is one of them, self-scouting is another. And then the third, again, I know I touched on this, but we've got quite a few guys in this team that, they're redshirting and they're grinding away and they're preparing our opponents. They're our scout teams looks. And there's something to be said to coaching those guys for a week and re-energizing them and getting them feeling like they're getting coached and noticed and all those things. So on a lot of fronts, it's great because, this is going to be a grind here after this week, and when we've got 7 straight, and they're going to be physical ball games, and we need to be healthy.
So last weekend, the Huskies traveled down to Salt Lake City where they faced the newest Pac-12 member, the Utah Utes. And they came away with an impressive 31-14 victory over Utah. Probably the best part about that game for Washington was the defense that held Utah to just 7 points after the first quarter.
Definitely, and probably the biggest key to that defensive performance was Huskies' ability to stop the run. Utah obviously being a run-first team with running back John White, and the Huskies were able to limit them to 35 yards on the ground, their lowest output of the season. And another key defensively was the Huskies' ability to force turnovers, force 5 of them, including 2 in the red zone. And under head coach Steve Sarkisian, that's always been a point of emphasis, and this week at least they got the job done.
Well, it's big. They've been obviously a much criticized group here the first few weeks of the season. So I was proud of them that they were able to respond and play the way they played. And again, we don't win that football game without our defense. They, in my opinion, won the football game for us and really helped the offense get right, because we had to get right offensively there. And I thought the drive at the end of the first half was good for the offense to set the tone for the second half. But none of that happens unless we play the defense that we were playing. And our guys really responded defensively. And I think we played a lot of players, and a lot of guys got quality reps that they hadn't been getting early in the year, and I think that helped and paid dividends in the second half. We were fresh, and hopefully we can continue down that road.
So while the Huskies probably played their best game of the year on defense against Utah, the offense once again showed up, led by Keith Price, who upped his touchdown total to 17, which ties for second in the nation. What do you think has been the key for Keith this season? He's really surprised a lot of people, becoming arguably one of the better quarterbacks in the Pac-12.
Definitely, and I think there's a couple key reasons for that besides just his obvious talent. And the first of those is the presence of Chris Polk at running back. So far, teams have had to focus their defenses around stopping Polk, and that allows Price to make plays. And as long as Polk is continuing to average 120 yards a game on the ground, that's what defenses are going to have to do, and Price is going to have opportunities. And the second reason is just the amount of weapons that Price has on the outside. It's tough to overstate the importance of the presence of Austin Seferian-Jenkins this year. Actually having a tight end in this offense has been huge. And when you throw in Jermaine Kearse and James Johnson and Kason Williams on the outside, there's a lot of weapons for Price to distribute the ball to. And like he's so fond of saying, when guys get open, all you got to do is give them the ball.
Oh yeah, and here's head coach Steve Sarkisian talking on Monday about his sophomore quarterback.
I think he's playing great football. I was on the phone with a couple other coaches around the conference about some different issues, and I don't think it's just us seeing it. For this guy to have 17 touchdown passes in 5 ball games, completing 69% of his balls, playing through injury, the leadership he's provided this team, I couldn't have asked for more than what he's given us through 5 weeks of the season.
So Keith Price and the UW offense have been surprisingly spectacular. The defense has been pretty good, as evidenced by their play at Utah last weekend.
Definitely.
But really what separated the Huskies this season has been the play of the special teams, which has been pretty bad over the past couple years, but now it's been an area of play that's almost winning games for the Huskies this season. What do you think's been so special about the special teams this season?
Well, definitely. I mean, the last 5 years, special teams has been a major weakness for this team. And I think the main reason for the improvement this year is just the added depth that the Huskies have at so many positions. Now, in the 3rd year under Coach Sarkisian, he's been able to start getting in more of his players, more of his athletes, establishing a lot more depth at a lot of key positions, and that really shows on special teams when you don't really want to have your starters in the game.
I'm really impressed with our special teams, and I know we've had some moments where we've interfered with some kicks and we dropped a kickoff. Those things are going to happen, but I think overall, the thing that I've maybe been most impressed with after what Keith has done has been just the overall play of our special teams. And I'm proud of that because it was been an emphasis. It's been an emphasis for us from last season, during the season, then after the season, into spring ball, and it carried right over into fall camp. And I think our kids have really bought into it. They enjoy special teams. We've got enough depth to be successful on special teams, and I think we're really reaping the benefits of that. And we're playing well. We're kicking the ball well. We're covering like crazy. Our kickoff return team is one of the top, if not the top, in our conference. And I feel like, man, how you should feel that this one might go the distance again. You know, and that's how you should feel when a team's kicking off to you. So all in all, that's been the biggest area for me that I think has had a real impact on this football team, and one of the reasons why we're 4-1.
So the 4-1 Huskies will host Colorado, the other new Pac-12 member, here next Saturday at Husky Stadium. A game they should probably win, and they will be favored by a lot. That'll put them at 5-1 with a win, heading down for a matchup against Stanford, and from there it gets really tough.
Definitely. After that, the Huskies have trips. Besides a trip to Palo Alto, the Huskies have a trip to the Coliseum to play USC, and then have Oregon and Arizona coming up for games at Husky Stadium. And one thing that really stands out about a lot of the teams remaining on the Husky schedule is the strength of their passing games. Stanford with Andrew Luck, Arizona with Nick Foles, USC with Matt Barkley. And obviously that doesn't really mesh too well with the struggles the Huskies have had on pass defense so far this year.
Right, and they've given up 323 yards on average to opposing offenses. So it'll be interesting to see if the impressive play from Nick Holt's defense at Utah can carry over to teams like Stanford and Luck and Darren Thomas and guys like that.
Definitely. That said, though, at the start of the year, it looked like the Husky schedule broke down into two pretty distinct chunks, with the first half of the year having a lot more winnable games than the second. And while the second half of the schedule is still looking tough, it might not be as difficult as Huskies might have imagined at the start of the year. Oregon State's having their worst season in a decade plus. Arizona's gone off to a rough start, albeit against a difficult schedule. But if the Huskies can keep up the way they played against Utah last week, they're going to find themselves with a lot of winnable ball games and might be able to go some places this season.
I think that comes from our coaching staff, but also comes from our leaders on our team. And I like our team because we've evolved that way. I don't think we played that way in week 1 versus Eastern, but now you total up the offensive snaps, the defensive snaps, and special teams. We play hard every snap, and we don't save ourselves.
And that's a wrap for this week's Husky Highlights Show. I'm Taylor Soper.
And I'm Kevin Dowd.
And we'll see you next week as the Huskies host Colorado.